Hello, everyone. If you're listening to this, you are likely in quarantine or some form of isolation. This podcast is brought to you by the Incandescent Review, a nonprofit teen-run literary magazine. The IR podcast is hosted by 4 teenagers across the U.S., and we are going to be talking about topics relevant to our life and the larger issues going on in the world. In this episode, we are going to discuss COVID-19 and mental wellness. I'm Ocean Wei. I'm a poet, cat enthusiast, and the critical writing director of the Incandescent Review. My pronouns are he, him, his, or they, them, theirs. First, I want to check in with everyone.
Hi, my name is Katie. I am from Westchester County, New York. I am 17 years old. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am one of the genre editors for the Incandescent Review.
Hi, my name is Angeli. I'm 16 years old. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am one of the music critics for the Incandescent.
I'm Ethan. I'm from Boston. I'm 17 years old. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I am the finance manager for the Incandescent Review.
Cool.
Okay, today we are discussing mental health during COVID-19.
I know this is a time of isolation and anxiety for a lot of people. So how is everyone doing?
Good.
Good.
See, that's an interesting question. It depends, I guess.
It depends.
Depends on the day of the week.
But are there
No.
still days of the
Monday's
week?
Days of
mental
the week
breakdown
don't
day.
exist anymore.
Yeah, what is time even
Yeah.
is right now?
You have an essay due at midnight tomorrow? No, I don't. That doesn't exist.
Oh no.
I don't know. It just feels like we're in like one big history book lesson, and I'm not here for it. It's kind of trippy, to be honest. It's pretty trippy.
How many of you are taking online classes right now?
Yeah, I am.
I am as well.
Unfortunately.
So how is that going? Is that a struggle, especially if you're like preparing for the AP exams?
I mean, my school, like, it was originally, they just posted assignments and you did them. Then we would have office hours a few times a week. And then now we finally have, like, a class schedule that we have to follow. Like, they just keep changing it, and it's hard to get used to for the students and the teachers.
I just keep telling my teachers that my emails aren't going through.
No!
And, yeah, so the end of the quarter is this Friday.
Oh no.
I have to take my AP music theory test like next month, and I don't know if College Board like knows how music theory works. I mean, like, there are pros and cons to it. Like, a pro is that they allow you to have an instrument with you, but then there's other parts where it's like, I don't know how it's gonna work out. It's kind of scary.
Do you think they should cancel AP exams, or like should they keep it for the student that need it?
Well, I don't know. Only on Anjali, you live in New York, right? None of you, Ocean and Ethan, you guys don't live in New York, right?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, New York State has the dumbest tests to ever exist, the Regents exams. They canceled those,
the Regents.
And usually they offer 3 a year for each subject. They offer 1 in June, 1 in August, and 1 in January. And if you miss like one or fail it, you take it at the next available time. And so they canceled the June exam for everyone, and they're not even making us take the August version of it, which really brings the question up, like, why have we had to like take these tests in years past if like you're just saying, oh yeah, you don't have to do it anymore? Because the Regents exams span grades like starting in 8th grade. Like, it's 8th to 12th that you take a Regents exam.
And the Regents, like, when they're held in June, and then you think about how the APs are held in May, but they haven't, done anything. I mean, like, yeah, they offer some of them online. They don't offer all of the, like they've canceled some of the AP exams, but there are others that they offer online where it's just, like, not that practical. And to be honest, at this point, they should just cancel
I was
it.
talking with
I
my
don't
teacher,
know,
though, and, like, my teacher had an interesting theory that the reason the AP exams haven't been canceled is because the College Board wants the money, and so canceling them means that they would have to give refunds for all the tests, and they wouldn't be able to profit at all. And I'm not saying that's the reason the AP or the College Board is going on with the APs, but that's definitely like he definitely makes a valid point, I think.
I don't want to say anything, but I think that we all know that College Board is like doesn't necessarily always have the best intent for the students who are actually taking the exam. Like they're very like
Yeah,
money
they're
oriented, you
acting
know.
according to their own
So
interests. Like my friends in East Asia, they have to take their AP exam at like 2 in the morning, and their like friends are their school is like adjusting the schedule to like so they have to like take class in the evening, which is like unhealthy, and I'm just mad that they put the AP exam above their students' well-being, you know.
Wow, why do they make them take it at such a late time? Why can't they just
Because
take it at
the
time than
PP,
everyone
the
else?
College Board has such a dumb rule stating that all students who take the exam have to take them at the exact same time,
You
no matter
always
where
cheat.
you are.
Yeah.
So I have to take it usually I have to take it around 8 a.m. sometimes. Like the last one I had to take was at 8 a.m. Like when you look at all of the other kids around the world, like the kids in California were there at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I don't know. That seems pretty unfair.
Yeah, I hope you guys are not falling behind at school. Like, if you guys need an extension or something, do you think the teacher will let you?
personally, my teachers have been
That's
pretty
good.
like lenient, you know, but the grades when they come out, I just hope that I haven't failed any classes. Like
Mm-hmm.
at this point, I really just want to pass. So, you know, oh, our school did a really dumb thing. So
Maybe it's a
basically,
good thing you
really
didn't say where
dumb
you're
thing,
from.
trademark,
Maybe
you
it's a
know?
good thing.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I think so. But it's okay. We all know that the school did a dumb thing because basically, they switched
Mm-hmm.
our grades to pass fail, right? And everyone was like, "Oh, okay, cool. I don't have to try that hard anymore because no matter like if I get a 65 or 100, it's just going to be a P. So it doesn't matter." And then like 2 weeks maybe before the end of the quarter, they decided to
What?
switch it back to normal grading. And I don't know in whose interest it was because it's certainly not going to help the school considering the fact that everyone's grade is going to go down, which is going to in turn like,
Shine a bad light in the
you know,
school.
like a school doesn't want.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
What's
It's
the
just like
point?
That's not fair.
Like,
How are they
Wow.
allowed
I
to
don't
do
know.
that
It just
that late?
My school is kind of the opposite, I'd say. Where like so my school is more traditional, I guess. I go to an all boys private school,
Mm-hmm.
and so we right after spring break, we decided to do online school, but the school still wanted to go full speed ahead. So we had the same amount of classes every day. We had the same same homework, same tests, and we didn't want to change anything about school life other than the fact that it was online. And a lot of people complained about that because it's a lot of screen time for anybody, and people were having headaches, and it's just hard to focus in school when you're online and take it as seriously. So
Mm-hmm.
my school just recently had to change the school day to make it shorter, but they're keeping the workload the same, and so
Oh.
we don't have like pass fail or anything like that. But they're this pandemic is really like forcing them to make changes, which is something that hasn't happened in a while.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. My school, we've been doing the online classes, and they have split a regular school day into 2 days. On Monday you do your periods 0 through 4, And then on Tuesday, you do 5 through 9. And then you do the same on Wednesday and Thursday. And then we don't have classes Friday. Friday is for, like, if you want to talk to your teacher alone and want to get extra help with, like, a good, like, time frame to do it in. And also our classes have now changed to 30 minutes.
Right.
But some teachers seem to still be keeping the workload the same, as if we're having full class days and we're seeing them every single day, which we're not anymore. So it's hard to keep up with the work. The only good thing that my school did is you're allowed to choose if you want to take the grade in the class as pass-fail. If your grade for the third quarter went down because of, like, quarantine, because of everything that happened, you were allowed to say, I do not want that averaged into my GPA. I will take a pass or a fail. So that's the good news.
Yeah, that's good news.
Yeah, you can bet I am taking some classes as a pass.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's a
gym. They're still grading me for gym, guys. Woo.
Wow.
Oh, I have yoga instead of gym.
One of our units is yoga.
Yeah.
One of our units
so
is yoga,
in the beginning, she would give us like videos that we need to watch, and then we would answer questions after. But recently, it's just like mindfulness practice. So she asked us how we felt before and how we felt after, and then it just counts as our attendance for the day, which is pretty cool. It's pretty good, especially because I'm gonna be honest, I don't do it most of the time because I don't, not because I don't want to. It's because I don't have time. But sometimes I do. Sometimes
I mean, if
do.
it actually
I'm not
helps
that
you,
bad.
I hope you do it.
Yeah, I do it like when I have time. I don't know. I think that it's like a good thing that the school implemented. Like the course started running a couple of years ago, and it actually like has helped me to, I guess, stay in shape somewhat because like it's not something that I dread doing, so I actually try. Like there are a lot of times in like PE, when they tell you to run a lap or something, and then you just kind of like jog a little bit and then look to see if the teacher's like not looking, and then you walk. Our schools also implemented like mental wellness days, I guess. Not all bad, it's just the grading part that's like kind of iffy.
Your school seems to really care, at least, though.
Yeah, I think that they're like trying their best to make it work, and for the most part they have been doing a pretty good job. So I'd say it's okay, I guess. Like I know that that's not representative of like what everyone's going through, because I know that there are like a lot of people where like the workload is still the same, even though like we're obviously in a different situation where the workload shouldn't be that much. But I guess like I was just fortunate, like my school like didn't
and
do
for
that,
people who are personally affected by the pandemic, like people who have lost any friend or like family, they should be allowed to just like skip school.
Yeah, I mean, there's more important things in school at that point.
Okay, so I want to talk about the notion that some people say we have to be productive or pick up a new habit or like work out or get into a good shape during quarantine. And I personally just think it's really stressful and unhealthy. And I was really angry at the person who like spread this idea. So what do you guys think?
No, I agree. I think
I agree
this
too.
is like quarantine isn't like a time to like be work. Like you can obviously choose to work or like pick up a new like hobby or habit or whatever, but I think if you don't, like that's perfectly fine too, because the world's going through a tough time right now, and people need like breaks, and they need I don't know, it's not like quarantine shouldn't be an excuse for you to flex how productive or hardworking you are.
Yeah, definitely.
I agree, because I think that like a lot of people, since they're or they should be cooped up in their house, like go home. If you're gonna go outside, stay socially distanced.
Mhm.
But for the most part, you should be staying inside. But I think that because like a lot of people are staying inside most of the time, they're very like disconnected and they don't really like realize the full grasp of what's going on. Like they're not actually like out there seeing
Mhm.
how badly this is affecting people. I think that because of that, people are just treating
Yeah.
this as like a vacation, you know? And like even though like I can see how it would feel like one, I think that we definitely do have to remember like to stay considerate of others, you know, and like not like
We can't be selfish. We
I don't
have
know how to
to,
say it.
even if you feel I
Yeah,
won't
yeah,
get sick,
exactly.
this doesn't affect me, you most definitely know someone who it will affect, and you have to be considerate of the people around you.
Yeah.
Like there are people out there, like there's that one woman who like licked products in a grocery store.
Ew.
She
Yeah.
was and she was like, coronavirus doesn't scare me. I don't know if she was positive for it or not, but she ruined so much food that people cannot buy
Mhm.
anymore, and this is not a time to be doing selfish acts like that.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I read this article somewhere, and actually, when young people and people who know they won't be affected by COVID-19, when they say, "Oh, I'm not worried about COVID, therefore I'm going to go out and hang with my friends," that's the same mindset that the older generation uses as an excuse to not care about global warming. They say, "Oh, global warming
Exactly.
won't affect me," and so
Uh-huh.
I don't need to worry about it, and I can do different things mindlessly, and I think we should be aware of the fact that like we don't want to fall into the same like mindset that the older generation has on certain issues that will affect us.
So actually, when this COVID broke out in the U.S., I was in another country, and when I landed back in the U.S., I just saw like a lot of posts. Like the first thing I did was like opening my social media, and like I just saw a lot of posts about like young people urging their peers to stay inside and stay socially distant because even though we are not the most vulnerable population, we can spread it to like people with higher risk, and that's definitely something we don't want to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So how has COVID affect people around you all? Like, does anyone you know is test positive, or did anyone you know lose their job over it? Or
I do know that my grandmother, who she's in Florida right now, she stays down there for a couple months in the winter.
mm-hmm.
She was feeling sick,
Oh
and
no.
so she got tested. She has like she does not know if she got her results back yet, and like I just kind of found it like kind of horrifying at how long it took for her to get tested for it.
Yeah.
I also know a friend who she tested positive for it, and she was really concerned about her stepfather, who is immunocompromised. And so he also got tested when she was tested, and they messed up his results, so they couldn't find out so they kept saying, okay, we'll test you again, and they kept pushing back the date for when they would test him. And so they finally tested him after like a week, and thank God he tested negatively for it. But at the same time, my friend was so concerned about what would happen and I was like, you cannot blame yourself for this. This is the fault of our healthcare system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's terrifying. Like, everyone should have access to get immediately tested.
I live with my grandmother for the most part. Like during the weekdays she comes to look after me and my sister because my parents are at work. And my grandfather comes like every day to see us. So like it's really scary thinking that like one of us who like aren't like my grandparents like might
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
have COVID-19 without realizing it. And like as a result, you know, like it's kind of impossible to stay away from them when you live with them in such like close quarters. Obviously, we're like doing our best to stay away, like no hugging or like kissing on the cheek, nothing like that. But like it's just been really hard and really difficult because like you want things to be normal, but at the same time, you know that they can't be because you constantly have to have like this feeling in the back of your minds, like, oh, but I could be hurting them right now without even knowing it. And it's really like damaging to one's mental health to constantly
Yeah,
like have that like
exactly.
fear
And like
hanging over you.
it's kind of similar in my house too, because my mom is a nurse, and so like she's exposed, or she was exposed to corona like every day until she took some time off of work because my little brother has asthma. So like the the um the chances of COVID being like fatal or serious increase when you're something like immunocompromised, or you have asthma, or like something like that. So my mom had to take some time off of work, but it really was scary when she was still going to the hospital every day and my brother was still in the house, because it's a big risk and you never know.
Also, like the healthcare workers who, so many of them are being exposed to this virus and they have to stay away from their families, or they're coming down with something and they don't know if it's coronavirus, and they have to worry about the safety of not just themselves but patients and people that they work with in their own families. Like, it's just terrible. Like, there was a video posted like a week ago maybe of a nurse who quit because she felt as if they were not being protected properly from this virus.
Yeah.
Like, it's scary.
I was thinking that we are praising the healthcare workers as heroes, but a lot of them don't really have a choice to quit working, even though they have family that are at higher risk, because if they take a break, they will be like fired or something.
Yeah.
And also for like the cleaners, people cleaning people at a hospital, and people who are like exposed, or like the retail workers, like a lot of them have to choose between exposing themselves and working, and paying rent, and like not having enough money to support themselves financially and their family.
Yeah.
So that's a really tough decision, and they shouldn't be put in that position.
Yeah. Luckily, my mom had a bunch of vacation and sick days built up,
Yeah.
so she was able to take some time off of work. But not everyone has that luxury, and we have to like keep that in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, the fact that she had to use her vacation and sick days just when it's probably known that she has a family member who's immunocompromised. The fact that she wasn't allowed the time off, or I don't know, this is what the situation was, but like the fact that like people are using their vacation and sick days or giving them to other people that they work with because they need to not be there. Like, it's just, I don't get why healthcare and other healthcare workers and other jobs like grocery store workers, like they won't let their employees like take time off without having to use up sick days. That wasn't really comprehensible. I am so sorry.
You're good. Makes sense.
It's hard when you're not writing it down.
Yeah, it made sense.
Yeah.
It's just, you feel bad for the people who are considered essential workers in this time, because if they weren't there, though, society would have gone to hell in a handbasket by now.
True.
Yeah, I think that's another problem. I think a lot of these essential workers are getting paid minimum wage, and we have to ask ourselves at some point, like, why are these people who are considered essential to like our society, why are they being paid so little? And I guess minimum wage isn't the problem, but it's more that how low the minimum wage is at this point, and how it's not even a livable wage. And so
Yeah, there are no place, and there's no place in the country where you can live off of one minimum wage job. Like, you can't afford an apartment and like living by yourself. Like, you can't pay for groceries, like whatever bills you have to pay. It's just, yeah.
Exactly.
That's another thing though, like rent and stuff. Like, they're like the landlords who are letting their tenants like off for 3 months, no rent, because they know that so many people have lost their jobs in this.
It's kind of heartbreaking. It's almost like some essential workers are treated as like disposable right now. It's like if they quit their job, they can't, or like if they get sick, they can't support their family. But like if they, for the companies and like for their employer, I guess they can just hire a new person. Even though I don't know who would want to work at this time.
Yeah.
So it's really sad that a lot of essential workers aren't even getting paid livable wages. It's not that we don't have the money either, because we see like all these big corporations getting bailed out now, and the United States is spending like billions upon billions of dollars to bail out big companies, but we can't even pay our own essential workers a livable wage. And it always comes down to the argument of, oh, like we don't have enough money, but we know that's not true.
Yeah. Some $1 million corporations say like they can't pay for like their employees like 2 months sick leave or something, and that's just like, I was gonna say a word I'm not supposed to say. Okay.
We were
Okay.
in here. That's
Yeah, that's what
It's
it is.
okay. I'll finish the sentence
I mean,
for
it
you.
also
That's some
brings up the
BS.
point
That's
of
what
how
that is.
the U.S. is one of the only first world countries to not have paid maternity leave, but that is a whole nother topic in and of itself.
Yeah. Well, the U.S. is giving everyone like a $1,200 bill, but the problem is the majority of the people are not getting it. And also, if this quarantine is gonna last longer, like that's not enough.
Yes, a $1,200 bill will not get you far. Like, and also with companies that are jacking up the prices of like, say, toilet paper, hand sanitizer, like people are just, which is so selfish. And a global pandemic, you're thinking about how much money can I make from this? Like, that is just the most selfish and disgusting thing. But it's not possible to seeing how we're probably going to be in this quarantine for at least another 4 weeks, as it took 4 weeks for New York State to flatten the curve of new cases. It'll take another 4 weeks at least for it to drop below the like highest point that it was.
Well, it sure is a heavy topic. Okay, let's talk about something more lighthearted. How are we coping with the situation? How are we distracting ourselves?
It's an oof, everyone. It's an oof. I mean, I am incredibly grateful for Ariel for coming up with the idea for the incandescent review, because it has given me something to do besides focus on the virus and my schoolwork and whether or not I've been outside today.
No, I'm gonna be honest. Working on the incandescent is like the one of the only things I have to look forward to these days. Like, the quarantine has like taken away so much and like made life so simple now, and I guess that's why some people are like taking this as like a productivity like stretch of time where you can just like try a bunch of new things, and like because they're trying to distract themselves, which, valid. I guess like working on the incandescent has really given me something to like, put my passion into, and I am also really
I would say
like
do whatever it
happy
makes
that
you feel
we're
good, and
here.
if it's the incandescent review, let's work on this. But like, it's definitely not a competition. If just like do whatever that brings you joy, whether it's baking, writing, reading. What's up? What's the
Don't
deal with
make
like
me
everyone being obsessed with bread right now?
Why is everyone making bread? Just buy it. That's what my mom has done.
I have not seen people making bread.
Seriously?
It's
No.
the only thing on my Instagram now.
Wow.
You haven't?
We go shopping.
What are they eating in
Yeah,
Boston
but
then?
here's the thing, though. I live in a town surrounded by white people.
Yep. I can relate to that.
But I'm also white. Yeah, I am white.
My
and
sister,
I live in the whitest town.
I'm
Technically speaking,
kind of
qualifies
a
as a
minority in
just
my
because
town.
I'm gay.
Like, I'm half.
That
Yeah.
LGBT stuff when you run.
Oh, yeah.
When
Yo,
you're
that too.
when you're one
Okay.
of the leading members of the
That
school's
LGBT,
GSA.
let's go. Oh,
Yo,
I think.
our school doesn't even have a GSA. So
Oh my god.
I'm. Yeah.
I petitioned for a GSA in
Oh,
middle
dang.
school. Did not
Oh,
go
no.
well.
Okay.
They didn't put one in until earlier this year, and now there's Corona. So
You know what? We can have another episode just talking about.
that is another
Yeah.
episode. I am so sorry.
When you're half Puerto Rican, half Indian, bisexual,
Yeah,
you're
bye.
bilingual,
Don't forget, you're a
bisexual,
woman.
and by yourself.
Can't forget that.
Yep.
How could
Oh,
you
that
forget
too.
that?
Yes, society
You
loves
have
that.
boobs. Marco, please edit that out. This is a PG podcast. We cannot have you saying boobs.
But that.
Marco, also edit that out.
Guys, this is hilarious. You can't see this.
Okay, technically it's PG-13. One
That is
and
kind of a
two,
golden line.
you have
It's a
boobs
golden line.
is a golden
and
line.
that's the slogan for the episode. Has nothing to do with Corona or mental health, but it's the tagline for the episode.
Oh, also.
You have
Yeah, little side
Okay, back
tangent
to
there.
Back to Corona.
Minorities.
Learn
feel
what is
like-
What's going on?
what's some advice that you guys can give for people who are stuck at home to make them feel better?
Learn how to play D&D so you
Oh,
can
heck
play it
yeah.
with me,
Yo,
and we can have a party and play D&D because I really
Oh
want
my
to play
God.
D&D with people.
yo, if y'all have any
Yeah.
suggestions on how to feel better during quarantine,
email.
please drop them. Not only for your
Yeah.
sake, but for
Yeah.
mine.
I think just
I need
just
those
talking with
suggestions,
your friends,
please.
like reaching out to people. I
Mhm.
think this is.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the situation we're in, obviously, but I think right now is one of the best times to like reach out to old friends that you haven't talked to in a while, because everyone's in their house and everyone's like looking for someone to talk to. So I think people would really appreciate just like a what's up, like how are you doing, like a life checkup. And I think it's a good time to do that right now. So
Yeah, this is one of the best times to do that.
On a sidebar of that, like this is also a time when like a lot of friends are definitely losing touch. I know that I have lost touch with quite a few of mine, and that kind of sucked. But I mean, like
Yeah.
the people who you do stay in touch with, I think that it makes your bond stronger, which is nice. It's always nice, and that's definitely something that's been like getting me through quarantine,
Aw.
Yo, shout out to Amelia and Nefertiti.
Hopefully they listen
Love
to
you.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway,
They will. They
You
will.
amazing.
Amelia signed up for the incandescent, so
Yep.
Only
Yep.
cool
True.
people are
she's
members
pretty
of
cool
this.
because only cool people
We're
do
the
that.
coolest.
Mhm.
We're
Back to the point.
Yeah, exactly.
Corona.
Staying socially connected is definitely great. Thanks, Ethan, for giving us a legit answer. Okay, I would
Yo,
say
the reason why the
something
rest
I've
of
been
us can't
doing
come up with one is
like
because we don't know
listening to
either.
music. I know it's like super cliche, but yeah. And also
Yeah.
journaling, and also taking socially distant walks. But like I'm privileged to live somewhere where like when I walk outside, like basically no one else is there. So I know like some people live in cities probably can't do that.
Yeah, but I think going back to your when you said journaling, I think that's a very good idea because, like, in a few years from now, like, when this all passes over, you'll have something to look back at, and you can like laugh at the memories, and you can kind of like learn from this time, and you can kind of see like your mindset where you were at, and I think it's pretty cool. And you could even use it as like writing material or something. I feel like that's kind of a cool thing.
Yeah, like as a writer, I almost have like a sense of duty to record this pandemic for the future generations, you know? Because when you think about it, it's something like 50 years from now, like the kids will be listening or like reading this in history book and they won't believe what's happening, like what was happening. Like if we tell, well, if our planet is still here and we have grandchildren's, like we tell them a story from now and they're like, are you serious? I don't believe this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like we survived a global
When your
pandemic. What are
children
you
say they're
talking about?
bored.
You have ghosts?
We have ghosts at our school.
You have
Oh.
ghosts at your school?
Yeah.
I thought you said
Yeah,
I thought
what?
you said girls, and I was like, wow, we still don't have girls at our school.
No, I said ghosts.
When you go to an all boys school.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
It's just a private day school, no
Okay.
boarding, just
Oh,
depression.
yeah, thank God. I grew up in boarding school and you do not want that.
Oh, really?
My brother applied for
Boarding
all
school.
boys.
Yeah, I grew up in China, actually. I didn't move to the US until like... Oh, actually, this is complicated. So I went to France first for an international school, and then I came here.
What? That's sick.
Yeah,
That's really cool.
Wait, Ocean, can you speak French?
a little bit. I haven't been practicing it at all for like 4 years, so probably not as fluent as I used to be, but yeah. Wait, can
Wow.
you tell English is like not my native language at all?
I mean, I can kind of tell, but like you're very good. Like your
Thanks.
English is like very
Okay,
good.
by the way, yeah, I don't think that we've like made this clear, but guys, check out our first issue, the spring 2020 issue on the Incandescent Review. It's gonna be published on April 19th instead of April 20th, like it should be, but it's gonna be published on April 19th. And it's really worth checking out, so you should go do that.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you to our editor, Marco.
Well, that's all the time we had. Thank you so much for listening to the Incandescent Review podcast. And be sure to check out our Instagram at The Incandescent Review or go to our website, theincandescentreview.org. We hope you tremendously enjoyed listening to this podcast. Our spring issue, the first issue ever published by the Incandescent Review, will be coming out on April 19, 2020. Please be sure to look at it if you're interested. There will be all sorts of writing, music, and art present throughout the magazine. Submissions for the summer magazine have already opened. If you feel interested, please feel free to submit on our website. We thank you so much again, and make sure to keep writing even during this quarantine.